Good morning, everyone. It is a Saturday coffee with Sheila and Melissa, or Melissa, Sheila and Melissa. So, who am I? Where am I? What am I doing? So, welcome, Reverend Sheila Tillich, to another. Here we go, having our coffee. So, Sheila and I were just talking about how busy the summer is going to be for both of us. And she's got some great events coming up. And so we're going to talk about all of that at the end of this broadcast. But what I thought was very interesting was as we were talking, kind of getting ready, I pulled us a card and it came out Key of the Lotus. So I think that was so appropriate for both of us, Sheila, as this is kind of, we're sharing what we have experienced. We're sharing what our knowledge that we've built together or independently or just built over these years. Mm-hmm. But yeah, She of the Lotus, I love this in that it really is about us, all of us, stepping into our power, stepping into our magnificence, stepping into our divinity, and really getting in connection with ourselves, with who we are and why we're here at this time doing this work. So I just thought this was, as I pulled it while we were talking, I thought, oh my gosh, this couldn't have been more appropriate or more beautiful to kind of highlight what we're all doing here together. That we
Absolutely.
are becoming the lotus of our own lives, opening that crown chakra, getting in connection. And so I'm really excited about the topic today. And I love how the topics are kind of building themselves from one conversation to the next. And last week we talked about energy psychology. And today we're going to continue that, going into looking at the mirror and how we look into the mirror and looking into the mirror and how that really affects us and what that's all about. So good morning, everyone who is joining us. Good morning, Cynthia. Good morning, Karen. Hello, everyone. We're so excited that you're here because I think this is a really important time we move forward in that understanding how energy, and I'm not going to get into the science, but the science is there showing how everything affects everything else, how we're all a part of each other, how we're all part of the divine matrix, how we're all part of this earth plane existence, and we're all one. We're all connected. And it's how does that connection affect us, and how can we use it? How can we learn from it and then use it? So good morning, Sharon. Good morning, Jen. Good morning, everyone. So looking into the mirror, Sheila, you kind of explain what that means?
Absolutely. Good morning, everybody. Excuse me. Sorry, I had to clear my throat there. I love this phrase, and I remember very early in my recovery year, part of my awakening 35 to 40 years ago, it was hard for me to look in the mirror because I was so unhappy. And there was so many things going on in my life that I felt that I had no control over. But what happened was, the more I looked into the mirror, the more I started seeing my true identity, my soul that was inside. And that was what was craving to come out. And this is the time that it's all coming out. So looking into the mirror, a lot of us can't because of our low self-worth, things that happen to us in our upbringing. So that brings back energy psychology, what we talked about last week, and how it kind of ties in with what are we doing now? How are we moving forward? How are we living our life happy, joyous, and free? Or finding the joy in our purpose. And so looking into the mirror is a very good metaphor or thing to keep in mind. If you can look yourself into the mirror and see the divineness that you have, that's what it's all about. And it's a lot of us don't want to look in the mirror. We have very painful memories of that mirror.
No, and I think that even for me, for many, many, many years, looking in the mirror wasn't even a metaphor. It was a literal. I didn't look at myself. I would remember that I would be like, I'd wash my hands in the bathroom, and I would leave the bathroom, and I'd be like, oh, I don't know if like my makeup's running off my face. Like I didn't even look at myself in the mirror. I didn't value myself enough to actually take a minute to look at myself. Looking into my own eyes was almost painful.
Exactly. That's what I love about what we do, as healers, and because we followed our life path, life purpose, we've actually took the time to look in the mirror and finally recognize when we didn't. And then all of a sudden, when we do, it's like the light bulbs go off. And so that's what's happening to many of us, is that those things we've heard a long time, we didn't pay any attention to or understand it. Now all of a sudden it's just like coming in. Mirror work really works, empowers you. Yes, absolutely, Starlene. Absolutely. And that's all about like the frequency that we're in now too, this ascension time. And when we talk about the spiritual, what we talk about on these things about how can we help each other move in this ascension time? How can we have better lives? And that's, as healers, that's what we do in our business, but that's our purpose. And that's your purpose too, is finding out why you're here. What are you really here for? And taking a close look in that mirror empowers you to be able to do that. And to take a look at your life and saying, that's not working for me. I need to do different. And then it's about choices, then you got to take the choice. You got to do the work. And a lot of us don't. We want that magic pill, the matrix, the red or the blue pill. Which one are you going to take?
No, it's so true. Instant gratification. I want it yesterday. And it doesn't work that way. And, it's funny. I've been working with a lot of folks. I'm going to say folks because it has been men and women lately. And it really is, wanting that better feeling now, wanting to know why they're not feeling much better. They're only feeling a little better. Like it's steps, it's incremental steps. And, sometimes when you're on this healing journey, you're not ready to be up here yet. You still have to take the steps in the in-between. And many, many of us don't want to do that. And yes, Darlene, mirror work does work. It really does. And for some of you who don't know what mirror work is, I believe the book is by Louise Hay. And she talks about, has a book on what mirror work is and how just looking at yourself in the mirror for 30 to 40 seconds or a minute every day, really getting in connection with yourself, with going within and looking at yourself in your own eyes and seeing into your own soul, because what that's going to do is it's going to bring up those things that you need to transform. It's going to bring up those things that are holding you back. And so, yes, it does work because, again, for someone who forgot to look at herself, for someone who didn't look at herself for many years, I was overweight and I didn't feel good about myself physically. So looking at myself in the mirror, and then it became an emotional thing. I was in a very abusive relationship and that was changing me. I was not the person that I knew I was. And I didn't want to look at the person I was becoming. So again, I didn't look in the mirror. So there's many, many reasons we don't look in the mirror. And so there's many, many reasons why we need to, and then transform and heal and move through the things that are holding us back. So it's very, very important. I think this is just such an important conversation because so many people walk through their lives so unconsciously because it's easier or they don't even recognize that they could be conscious.
Absolutely. And many people will go to, other people to try to get the answers. And that's what we use. We use deviation tools, with your cards and stuff that I do and stuff like that. And it's really, the power has always been inside you. That's where looking into the mirror empowers you because you get in touch with your divineness, your divinity, who you really are. And I love that with, the events that we do, the light workers and the Lemurian Sisterhood. These are actually people that are starting to transform and transmute their lives into this new frequency of looking into the mirror. Actually letting go of that pain of why you didn't want to look in the mirror, all those low self-esteems and issues that you have, and really take a look at your life and then try to do different. I love how we can help people in so many different ways, but the bottom key is that you have the power. And that's what looking in the mirror is all about, is the power that you have.
And I think a lot of people who are in those in those traumas and dramas that are holding them back, those abusive relationships and those unworthiness and those powerlessnesses, they really do need to recognize that they do have it within themselves. And the mirror work really does help you to tap into that inner strength, that inner power that's kind of buried under all those traumas and dramas.
Exactly. Absolutely. The mirror is so evident. It's like you can't hide. And we want to, but you can't, and that's the whole point, is that we live our whole life, doing for others instead of doing for ourselves. And this is the time now. This is the awakening time. And that's why it's the right time and divine time. And when you were talking about not wanting to look in the mirror, and it reminds me of Cryon, Leon Carroll's Cryon, when he always talked about the train. We do all this work expecting it to happen now. Excuse me. But really, it's not the time. It's like the train. We go to the train station, we wait for the train to come. Well, it's not time. It's not the right schedule. Just like it's not our time to shine. However, to be able to make it shine, you have to do the steps.
Yeah.
You have to do stuff. And that's what, connecting with like-minded people is all about. Realizing that you're not alone, that we're all on this journey together and we are all connected. Yes, a puzzle does not come together in two pieces. There are many pieces that come together before it is complete. Absolutely, Cynthia. I love that. And how the universe lines us all up to make that puzzle come together. When I teach my classes, I talk about the puzzle and the tapestry of your life and what that means. You put one piece here, one piece there. But once you look in the mirror and you see in your soul, it's like you see it. Intuitively, you know that you are a full puzzle. You have a beautiful tapestry. It's like, how do you get there? And that's where the trust comes in. And that's where the divine timing comes in. It's like I can say, we want everything in recovery work. We want everything that the 20-year person in recovery has. All right. But the thing is that you have to go to any lengths to get it. And that means you need to do the work in between. And you meet people with different vibrational fields, different energies. And, the frequencies that used to work for you years ago doesn't work for you now. The same with people, places, and things. That's the work. That's the work. And also the energy with the frequencies that's in the consciousness field, that when the student is ready, the teacher appears. What that means is that the frequency is out there. And when you open yourself up through all these tools that we have, through the breathing, through the healing techniques, through doing the classes, doing work on yourself, it starts to come together. That tapestry actually comes together. Those puzzle pieces fit together. And Cynthia, thank you so much for that comment, because it's absolutely true. We do it together.
And it's funny because that's actually one of the things I had said to my students this week, because I could feel as we were going through some exercises, there were people who were feeling kind of bad about where they were because they weren't experiencing some other things, other people. And I made that conversation that, if you're not where you want to be, that's okay, because where you are is where you're supposed to be. And until you master that step, you can't get to the next step. And so it's so important to just, sit in your own space and be okay where you are, and know that because you know where you are, you're going to keep moving into the next steps of your journey, but not to have any urgency or anxiousness about it, because that's buying back into the fear energy.
Exactly. And also it's the old programming. And those are the issues in the tissues and everything else that the survival techniques, instead of thriving, we're back in the survival, and we don't want to survive. We want to thrive. And
absolutely.
And trust, and move forward and just breathe, and the answers will come. Are you able to speed up your soul contracts? Okay, so let's talk about soul contracts. That's a good one.
I thought so. I thought we were definitely go well with our.
Jay, wonderful. So in the old energy. All right, I'm talking about old ways thinking about soul contracts. We're here for certain things. Or however, that soul contract, or the contract that we make for our souls, is made in invisible ink. Now think about that. It's because as we are evolving, things are changing in us. And what we thought was our soul contract might not be what it is. It's something different now. And that's the ascension part. That is part of the learning that we learn on this earth science. All right. It's like soulmates. People talk about soulmates. All right. So that's a saying about people that, you're supposed to meant to be and whatever. So there's a whole conversation on that one that we can go into. But soul contracts is that as you evolve, you start to step into a divineness of difference in you. The vibration changes in you. And so what you thought was your soul contract might not be now. But it got you here. That's part of like going to the train station, waiting for that train, but doing the work, and because you have the trust that something's bigger and better coming through. The same with the contracts. It's made in invisible ink, and there's nothing wrong with changing the contracts. If you always thought you should always be a teacher, the doctor, my parents want to be a teacher or a doctor or whatever, I'm not happy being a teacher. So you can change that. And that's where the programming comes into play, is that you change your programming, you can change your belief, you can change your life, and you can manifest your divineness of what you're really here to do. And that's what this frequency is all about, is that growing, changing, connecting with the frequency in your own life, and moving forward. And your contracts change.
Yeah, and I think that's a very new idea, that's come through in this new energy, that we're not, it's almost like we're not, I don't want to say stuck. That's not the right word, but we're not.
Well, it's the same as this duality. All right. Like, we're in this new frequency with COVID, and it's a whole new world. It's a new normal. And we always stayed stuck doing the same thing over and over again because that's what we were told. The same with history. This is what's going to happen. Oh, my goodness. But that's the duality. That is more of the lower frequency duality. So the possibilities are endless now if you change into the positivity mindset of where you're going or where you want to go. So there's many ways of looking at that.
Okay. That's awesome. No, and I think that has really kind of, I feel like there's been like this collective sigh of relief that, people aren't pigeonholed into this certain thing that they have to do because that was what they feel their soul contract was. Now there's this opening up of, okay, I thought that's the road I was going down, but now I feel like I need to go over here. And so now we've got this freedom to really evolve in a way that's really, it's really opening things up and opening us up to become bigger and more than maybe we were actually thought we were going to be in this life experience.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Has anybody else got any questions for us? This is awesome. We're about halfway through.
Yeah. Karen says, looking in the mirror and see yourself, but really, are you looking? A quick glance.
Yeah. And why aren't you really looking? That's the question. All right. And so that's where once you make that distinction that you're really not looking, and then you have to ask yourself why. And that's like opening the Pandora box, opening, okay, all right, now what's really going on in here? What's really going on? So I like that question. Thank you so much, Karen, that comment.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you're right. Sometimes we do look in the mirror and we're not seeing or we're not looking hard enough to really get to the root of what we need to be seeing. We're still staying in that mindset of I'm only going to look at the surface because anything else is too hard.
That's a survival. That's a survival technique. Think about it, it's a survival. All right. It's comfortable for you. So you stay there. Okay. So you really don't look into it. Just like it's very hard as what we teach also in the Master Integrated Energy Therapy. We do like a heart sharing, all right, a heart hug sharing. And it's very hard for us as healers to look into the eye and receive from other people. Okay. And so we do an exercise to open that up so that we really get in tune, because that's the hard part. That's our unworthy part. But once you do, it's like then you realize the connection is so strong. It's looking at those issues or why you don't do things or why you stay stuck or this is your survival. This is what you always did. So that's what you're always going to get. But it kept you going to where you are now. Now it's a whole different mindset. So you can look into the mirror and actually feel the power that you have. And that's the frequency that's here now. And that's what brings us all together now here. Exactly. That's why we're here. Karen, thank you.
So Sharon says, so it's like a visual soul searching.
Absolutely.
I like that.
Absolutely. Sharon, it absolutely is. I like that. All right.
So Colleen says, I'm working on changing my perspective right now. Grateful I can redirect my thinking at any moment of the day.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's no more being kind of only going down one road. It really is about how you feel and where you feel you need to be going, and really getting in touch with that intuitive guidance or that beacon of light that is within you, so that you can kind of keep going down your path. And for many of us, the path isn't straight. It's more of this. It's more a winding road, and it's going to take us to places we can't even imagine if we can trust and act on that intuition.
Yeah, yeah. The crooked road is a Native American saying. It's for like some people that they go off the path of what they need to do. A lot of times it's the things that we do, the things that we get involved in, the negative things that really don't help us, and it is the road less traveled, Scott Peck. I don't know, remember that years and years ago. And it was about, we stay on the same path expecting different results. And it's like, you have to go off that path, and that crooked road sometimes is where you actually build your strength, is because you went through it. Just like, the saying, religion is about original religion and spirituality. Spirituality is about people that's already gone through the fear and they've gone to the other side, and found out who they really are. So that's what it is, that you have to go through it first. And those roads take you there. And there's nothing wrong with them, because that has given you the power, the wisdom. Those are the earth lessons that we have.
Yeah.
Every single one of us, and gives us the wisdom,
And that's really why we're here. So, if you can get to a place where you can embrace and be grateful for those experiences, no matter how hard they were. And for some of us, man, they were taking us to our knees a couple of times. But yeah, if you can be grateful for those, because that's really why we're here, to learn the lessons so that we can elevate, so that we can evolve. And the only way we're going to evolve is to really look at what's holding us back. And for some of us, it is stuff that we brought into this lifetime with us. So it's all good. It's all good. And
Okay.
so, yeah, it's all good. So Sheila, let's talk about, we've really kind of ourselves in this conversation open the Pandora's box of, okay, so you're someone who's on the path, you're doing the work, and you feel like you need help. What would be some of the ways in which they could reach out to you for help to kind of move through some of these barriers and traumas and dramas that are holding them down?
Oh my God, there's so many things and avenues that we can go down. And for me, in my practice, I love it because I have a whole smorgasbord of tools that I can use to help you. But basically, it's about having a session, coming, talking to me, and then galactically and connection frequency, they will know what tools I can use. But anywhere from being heart coherent, learning how to use techniques in your life, breathing techniques through heart math, or having an IET session, which is about issues and the tissues, those fears and those things that are still inside your DNA. So we're talking about quantum DNA healing. And then, of course, unity field healing, which I specialize in also. That is a higher frequency of tapping into your DNA and your actual template of your DNA. All right. What is your soul wants? Because it's right there. There's so many things that you can do and to open and help yourself. So that's what I love about my practice, is I help people learn about that. But also, as a teacher, I teach you to unlock these things for yourself. And that's what I love about integrated energy therapy. And Melissa, you've been through all my courses, and it's about your own self-healing journey. And what does that mean? And most people, they look at different healing modalities. I want to take that. I want to take that. But really, why do you want to take it? And that's part of looking into the mirror. And that's part, when we're talking about soul groups and our soul contracts, that's all part of it, the learning process of finding out who you are and how you tick and where you're going from here. So I do have classes. As a matter of fact, I have an intro, free intro video, intro gathering July 1st, Thursday night, 8 o'clock. It's a free discussion and information about integrated energy therapy. And it's this coming Thursday, a week from yesterday. It's 8 o'clock and it's free. And also some lucky winner will grab a free healing. And then also I do have classes coming up in the fall. All right. I have an an intensive workshop, which is all 3 levels. So it kind of helps you do your own work. And I want to give you the tools to heal yourself. That's the whole key. It's an inside job. It's always an inside job. And then as you do that, you meet other people along the way that they're doing the same thing. They're making it their mission to be at a higher frequency and to feel their soul's purpose. So IET is a great way of finding out your soul's purpose. And as a practitioner, when I do a session, I don't do just sit there and read hands-on type thing. I really get into the what's going on inside you as a medium. All right, evidential medium, I can do that too. So all the answers are there, and I just help you open it up to do that, to find them. And just like your cards, Melissa, the same thing. Those are messages that are coming through that you help people. And that's what we do as healers, all different types of healing. We all have it.
It's so true. And I love that, in my practice, what I'm able to help people do is to tap into that, to tap into their connection and to formulate their relationship with their divinity, their higher self, their team of guides, angels, and ascended masters. And it's very fulfilling and rewarding when you can help someone to really tap into that part of themselves that's always been there. They've always kind of known it. They weren't really sure, but now they're getting to a place where they can start getting on the road to their own healing journey and to their own purpose, their own life purpose. And one of the things that I taught years ago in my Guidance 311 series, when we talked about life purpose, was we all have pretty much the same life purpose. We're all here to be of service to each other, everybody in their own way, but we're all here to be connected, to be of service to each other, to be integrated together and be part of the matrix together. And it can be very opening for some people to know that, whatever their purpose is. And for some people, it's very, these aren't grand purposes. These aren't, you're not going to be on a world stage, or you may not be known by the world, but your purpose could be to really be the pebble in the water that starts the ripple to the people around you. And
Absolutely.
That's what is so important about what we do.
Yeah, that's the vibrational field. And when we talk about it in the Lightworkers event, that's the first and third Wednesday of the month, we talk about that. How do you be that pebble in the ripple, and that's what it's about. And it's about you shining your divineness, who you really are, which is great. And then sisterhood is about more advanced stuff, but it's all part of, we're here to be in service to each other. And how do we do that? We do this together.
We do.
Okay. Well, that's the stucking. That's what I do, is help people get unstuck, Lori. It's like, it's the fear is how you stay stuck, is because you don't want to do what you don't want to do. And I think we talked about this a few weeks ago about doing what you don't want to do and don't do what you want to do. In other words, if you're stuck, you really got to do the work. And a lot of people don't, because those fears, those issues are so deep from other lifetimes that you brought in, and then mostly this lifetime too. So it's out. There's so many issues there with all of us. We all have, and I'm always going to have issues in my tissues till the day I die, until I cross over. And that's what I'm here to do. And that's my growth. So yeah, exciting times.
It really is. So guys, SheilaTillich.com for more information on the free meeting that will be Thursday, July 1st. I did put that information in the chat box. And for me right now, I'm scheduling individual IET sessions, distance and in person. And I also have an evidentiary mediumship course coming up in September. So readings always, the intuitive guidance or evidential mediumship reading. So it's all there on my page, melissawwatkins.com/services. And Sheila has so much. So when you go to her website, please have either some water or coffee there, because you're really going to read all the beautiful information and all the different things in ways in which she's here to help us. So this has been a beautiful conversation. Please feel free to continue to put questions in the chat box. For those of you who are watching the replay, we will absolutely check back in and answer those for you. But as always, totally enjoyed this conversation. And I do think we're being brought to, where we are in this energy, and what is everyone having the same questions. We're all having the same questions. Yeah, I love it. So thank you.
We do it together.
We do it together. All right. You're welcome, everyone. And we will see you next Saturday. Have a beautiful rest of your day. And thank you for being here.
Thank you. Bye-bye now.